tested. All right, let's do it. Coming down in 5, 4, 3. Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Wednesday, the 11th of October. Good to have you aboard. Of course, we are part of the Believe Podcast Network and presented as always by Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. If you've been involved in an accident, if you're dealing with a personal injury, doesn't matter what kind it is. If it was through no fault of your own, Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys. Hey, if it could be a car accident, motorcycle, boating, maybe you were injured from a dog here in the state of Florida. If you were a loved one, if you were bit by a dog, you may be entitled to compensation. Dog bite lawyers, they have them at the law offices of Anidjar and Levine. They are here to help you. That's right. You wouldn't even have thought of that. It's true. 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. And of course, with NFL Week 6 getting going tomorrow, Thursday Night Football tomorrow night. We're a few days away from Dolphins and Panthers. We'll get to that coming up. You know we got the big Johnny Cuba, Are You Hungry Grill, ZASLOW Show 2.0, tailgate on Sunday. But football, I mean, we love football. It's in full swing. And Bet Online is your number one information source for all your sports wagering info with all the up-to-the-minute stats, news, scores, matchup breakdowns. We were using Bet Online the other day during our live stream of It's Still Real to Me, going over the props for WWE Fastlane last weekend. That's right. You can wager on WWE events. Well, you can get the latest game odds, spreads, totals in real time for all your NFL games through the college football season, through the Super Bowl. BetOnline gives you access to the best football promotions and contests available anywhere online. It's all at your fingertips with BetOnline's real-time updates on stats, news, and odds. Head to the BetOnline website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Remember, use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, and you'll get 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. So, we got a lot to get to today. We have a lot going on. It's Wednesday, which means right before the NFL week starts tomorrow. We got to tell you which fan bases going into the new week are going through good times and which fan base are going through hard times, Daddy. We got some NBA to get to, including the NBA rank has been coming out the last couple days on ESPN. Yesterday, I didn't get to it. Yesterday, 100 through 51 came out. Today, 50 through 11 came out. So the top 10 remains. We'll update you on what's going on there. And I will give you my predictions for the top 10 tomorrow. We know who's in it because you could do process of elimination easily. But I'm going to give you the order that it's going to come out in tomorrow. That's right. The Heat last night opened up preseason action. We got some things to get to in that regard. But first off, I started off the show yesterday with a little bit of this, and I said how I didn't want to get too into it, but I wanted to address it right quick. And I'm going to do it again a little bit here today, where I talked about the conflict that's going on in the Middle East with Israel. Everybody knows I'm Jewish, and I feel like I felt like addressing it yesterday because I feel like there's a lot of people, a lot of Jews who listen to the show like, ZASLOW, you got to give some thoughts. You got to represent. And so, not that I felt an obligation to do it because I didn't, but I wanted to say a few things and I wanted to get a few things off my chest. But we're not making it a political thing. We're not doing any of that. It's not about, this is why, Palestinians are upset and this is why Israel is doing this, because that's political stuff. And we're not interested in doing that on ZASLOW Show 2.0. When I used to do ZASLOW and Amber and I had a really pretty strict policy that we don't do stuff like that. I don't think people want to hear about it. But the reason I brought it up yesterday, and the reason that I'm bringing it up here again today is this is not a political thing that's going on in Israel right now. This is terrorism. This is not politics. When 9/11 happened here, that's not a political thing. That's terrorist. And that's Al-Qaeda trying to kill as many Americans as possible. And that's what's going on over there. This is, conversation about land and why Palestinians are upset. That conversation should be had about that. And I told my son the other day, because he had some questions about the Israeli government, and I said, listen, you can not like things that the Israeli government do. You don't have to be all on board with that. The same way that we don't have to be all on board with the U.S. government. I mean, who the hell's all on board with the U.S. government? That's a different conversation. That's not, when the 9/11 attacks happened, we didn't then talk about, yeah, but the U.S. government, this is why they're angry. No. Those are two different things, man. And it's the same thing here. You could be a Jew. Shit, you could be an Israeli. And they're pretty divided politically there these days, the same way we are here in this country. And that could be the case. And also, that's a different conversation from what's going on when Israelis are being slaughtered and the women are being raped and dragged through the streets. That has nothing to do with politics. That has to do with terror. That has to do with terrorism. And so, and you can't avoid it because it's all over the place. I was listening to Sirius XM NBA radio today, and shout out to Frank and Frank Isola and Brian Scalabrine, who are just two of my favorites. And they've done a really good job. They're not covering it from a political standpoint. They're actually covering it somewhat from an NBA standpoint, from a basketball standpoint, where, yesterday they had a player, a player who plays there in Israel, talk about what's going on. And I thought it was really informative. And today they had Arn Telemon, former NBA super agent, and he's currently a chairman with the Detroit Pistons. And Arn Telem, obviously Jewish, and they were talking just about his experiences visiting Israel and the work he's tried to do there, charitable stuff, and he was very emotional, Arn Telem, talking about it today. It was difficult to hear, it really was. And I really appreciated Frank and Scal having him on and talking a little bit about it, and hopefully some people learn a couple things of what's going on there, because it's not a political thing. It's a terrorist thing that's happening right there. And I think that's what has so many Jews here upset, because I see these posts out there where, there's one going around right now that everyone is sharing, and it's linking up all these famous people, like Kim Kardashian has this many followers, and Miley Cyrus has this many followers, and Ariana Grande has this many followers. And it's like, that's a total of X billion followers, and not one of you have said anything in support of the Jewish people. Why not? And I understand Jewish people being upset about that, but at the same time, for me, I'd rather just focus on those that are coming out and are supporting. Like The Rock came out yesterday with a message. He made a post, and I'd rather give my energy to those who are speaking out like that and supporting the Jewish people and Israel and not even just Israel. Listen, don't be stupid. Hamas doesn't represent all Palestinians. All Palestinians are not terrorists. The same way that all Muslims are not Al-Qaeda. It's the same thing. There are innocent Palestinians who are being killed as a result of what's going on, as a result of the counterattack by Israel. And that's a very messy situation, what's happening there, with innocent Palestinians being killed while Israel's trying to defend themselves. I don't want to get into that, but the point is, not all Palestinians are terrorists. Let's understand that. So there's a lot of innocent Palestinians being killed and a lot of innocent Jews being killed, Israelis being killed. And I guess the point that I'm trying to make is, I'm appreciative of the people who are speaking out and saying something. Like I told you, The Rock put out a really nice message there yesterday. Amare Stoudemire, former NBA All-Star, played his last year with the Miami Heat. What was that, 2017, 2018, something like that. Who is Jewish. He claims he has Jewish roots, but he's converted to Judaism either way. Shit, he's probably more Jewish than I am these days. I mean, buddy loves studying the Torah. So anyway, and he observes Shabbat and all of that. And Amare Stoudemire a few days ago was very angry. And he posted a video where, and he was, fuck all these politicians who haven't said anything. Fuck all Black Lives Matter who haven't said anything. And he was very, and you understand the point that he's coming from, where it's like, what do you need? What do you need to read about and find out more about the situation before you comment about it? Since when is killing and raping women and putting children in cages, since when has that been okay? And he's fuck you, fuck this, and like I'm like, man, Amare, that's so cool that you did that. And you know what? Big time credit to Amare Stoudemire as well, because then the next day, he calmed down. He made a post and he was apologetic. My emotions got the best of me. Me giving that type of response doesn't help anything. And I thought that was an even greater, thing that Amare Stoudemire did. I know a lot of people are probably like, "No, he's right. Your first message was right." I thought both messages were right. The first one was very emotional, and the second one, he was able to step back and be a little bit more rational about it. And I appreciate that, even though Amare Stoudemire is technically Jewish, and it's funny because, like, I'm super appreciative. I feel appreciative about it when guys like that who have Jewish, not Jewish, especially not Jewish, like The Rock, but Jewish, not Jewish, who have a major platform and they come out in support of the Jews who make up such an infantile percentage of humanity, which is why it's so crazy that there are so many people out there who hate the Jews. We make up such a small, a minuscule percent of the world's population, yet there's so much hate crime against the Jews. Like, think about that, and I guess, the point that I'm making or trying to make is it's weird, right? The fact that I'll be so appreciative of people coming out and being supportive in a spot like this. And I guess I'm so appreciative about it because we don't get, I guess we don't get a lot of the support, or we don't feel that a lot of the support is out there. And that's why, we end up being so appreciative when people are lending their support. And it's why I know a lot of Jews out there, and you're posting on social media, why aren't you supporting? Why are you so quiet about what's going on right now? And those are good questions, but I'd rather just, focus my energy on those who are supporting, and be grateful for that. So I hope it doesn't bother anyone that I started out the show again with that today. But man, this feels different. There's always war going on over there. But this one feels different. And it's not going to get, it's going to continue to get really bad over the next few days, weeks, whatever it is. Because the reality of it is Israel is going to turn Gaza into a parking lot, is what's going to happen. And that's not necessarily a great thing either, because there are a lot of innocent Palestinians who are going to be killed over that. So this one feels different. This situation feels different. And I would advise, don't watch any of the stuff online. I accidentally came across a couple of things. It makes me very angry. It's really upsetting. Don't watch the stuff that's online, the videos that are being posted and all of that, because you can't unsee it. Once it's you can't unsee it. I would really advise against you watching any of that. Read about it. You should be aware of what's going on in our world, but I don't recommend watching any of the videos. All right. Anyway, we got to move past that. And like I said, I hope it doesn't bother anyone that we brought this up for a second day in a row, but it's pretty fucking serious. It's hard not to, excuse me, it's hard not to think about it. All right. So let's get to the Heat here, all right? Let's do some fun stuff. The Heat last night, I was into yesterday. Yesterday was a fun sports day. I told you, going into yesterday was a really good sports day because you got the Heat making their preseason debut. You got Major League Baseball divisional playoffs, American League style. You got 3 games today. Today's a great baseball day. You had NHL opening up their season yesterday. And you had a huge night in pro wrestling, AEW Title Tuesday, going up head-to-head. You had Tuesday Night Wars for pro wrestling last night, going head-to-head with NXT. I didn't finish NXT. I got to the main event. I will finish watching it this afternoon, and then we will watch Title Tuesday. So I got some pro wrestling to get to here this afternoon because I was dialed into the heat. Before we continue on with the heat here, guys, I've been telling you about Brunt Insurance for, almost a year now. ZASLOW Show 2.0 is coming up on the 1-year anniversary. 1-year anniversary is later this month. And one of our great sponsors, OG sponsor, I've been getting my homeowner's insurance from Brunt Insurance for almost 10 years now. And I send you to Brunt Insurance as well because I never have to worry about my home being covered. And I know I'm also getting the best rate out there possible. Brunt Insurance, 954-589-2204, bruntinsurance.com. And wherever you're calling from in the state of Florida, from Pensacola all the way down to the Keys, Brunt Insurance has you covered. They have offices all throughout the state. So no matter where you're calling from, Greg Brunt and his fully licensed staff, they know your area. They're going to tell you exactly what you need, and you're going to find the right policy, and they're going to educate you. They're going to let you know what all your options are, so you're going to know all the ins and outs of your policy of choice. Maybe you don't need homeowners insurance. Okay, automobile, motorcycle, boaters insurance. If you rent, renter's insurance. If you're not in a single family home, condo insurance. 954-589-2204, bruntinsurance.com. Let Greg Brunt and his team help you learn about all your policy options so you can make an informed decision that's not going to keep you awake at night. Brunt Insurance, 954-589-2204. Go to bruntinsurance.com. So, no Jimmy Butler last night, no Caleb Martin last night. Here's your starting five. Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, Josh Richardson, Kevin Love, Bam Adebayo. I think Kevin Love is going to start the season as a starter. And I think it's one of those deals. He starts the game there, helps get everybody set, veteran, great presence, great locker room guy. If it's a night where he starts off the game hitting a couple threes, stretching the floor, he's going to play more that night. If it's not, okay, he'll also start the second half. You're not going to, he plays like 15, 17 minutes a game. I think that's what you're looking at. We know that Jimmy Butler's going to start, so you got to figure that Kyle Lowry essentially started in his place. I also think Caleb Martin starts, so that's Josh Richardson starting in his place. So I think your starting lineup in the regular season is going to be Hero, Butler, Martin, Love, Adebayo. I think Lowry comes off the bench. I already made the case that he doesn't need to play at all. I think Lowry's going to come off the bench. He already said he expects to be the starter. You would have much rather him say, I expect to do whatever it takes to help the team to win. It is what he is. We know what kind of player he is at this point in his career. And so I expect Lowry to come off the bench. I expect Richardson to come off the bench as well. I think one of the things that you see last night, this is a very deep team. When they're healthy, I gave you that starting five. And bench players, you're talking Lowry, Richardson, Jaquez, Jovic, Thomas Bryant. That's 10 guys right there. I didn't even include Duncan Robinson and Haywood Highsmith. Highsmith, who I think should be in the regular rotation on this team. That's 12 guys I just gave you there. So the big stories, though, last night, Tyler Hero led the team. And by the way, pretty nice crowd for a preseason game. Tyler Hero, 22 points. Like, oh man, Hero had a great game. Not really. I mean, I do think we're getting a sassy Tyler Hero, right? Tyler Hero the other day talking about how I didn't want to go to, that's okay, Portland didn't want me. I didn't want to go there. I'm glad I'm still here, and my goal is to make sure that I'm on that untouchable list at the end of this year. You're getting a sassy Tyler Hero going into this season. But last night, you're looking at it, you're like, all right, Tyler, 22 points. Led everyone in scoring. He had a great game. Not so much. I mean, he was chucking out there. Not that they weren't good shots. He was 9 for 22. He was 2 of 7 from 3, which is obviously bad. But 22 points on 22 field goals, that's not good. So Tyler didn't have a particularly good game, but he's going to be super aggressive. I think you're getting a monster season. And why wouldn't you? Number one, he continues to get better every single season. And number two, he's going to be on we're going to do like the Tyler Hero FU tour this year. That's what we're talking about, right? So Hero led everybody, but the story of the game was the guys off the bench. 3 guys off the bench who you really love what they gave you. Number one, Thomas Bryant. Thomas Bryant is a very quality backup big man. I think you knew this going into the season. Played with the Lakers and the Nuggets last year. 15 points and 8 rebounds. Very aggressive. Very physical. Moved the ball well as well. Got to the free throw line a few times. Thomas Bryant is going to be a very quality backup big man and a major upgrade from the Dwayne Dedman, Cody Zeller of the last couple years. They have a very quality big off the bench in Thomas Bryant. Number 2 off the bench, Jaime Jaquez. 13 points and 7 rebounds for Jaquez. And I think the thing that stood out to you most is what you were hoping for. That having been a 4-year college player, 22, 23 years old, whatever he is, he's a guy who is ready to compete in this league and be in the rotation right now. He looks, for a rookie, he looks more ready than most rookies. And that's why the Heat like drafting a kid like that. 4 years of experience is more of a man at 22 years old than a kid who enters the league with more talent at 19. This is a guy, Jaime Jaquez, who can help this team right now. The footwork, he played bully ball getting to the basket. He was very aggressive. And by the way, whose game does he remind you of? Yeah, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler. So I think you're really pleased with what you saw out of Jaime Jaquez yesterday. And the third guy, Cole Swider, 17 points all in the fourth quarter. The Heat trailed by 9 at one point. Swider goes crazy, hits a bunch of threes. He had 5 threes. He was 5 of 9 overall, all from 3, 17 points all in the fourth quarter. And how about how excited that Heat bench was? They were all on their feet. They knew that final shot was going in. He buries it, nothing but net. He was super excited. The bench, Hero, Bryant, Richardson, Love, they were all pumped up for him. And you're saying to yourself, now he was in the league last year, he was at the Lakers. But you're saying, now I think there's one roster spot open. I think we're in a place right now where, yeah, I'd like that spot to go to Cole Swider. You're hoping 2 things. Number one, could he be the next guy in that Heat development system who becomes a guy? That's number one. And number 2, is he going to be your new Duncan Robinson? Meaning, if/when they eventually trade Robinson with that contract, does Swider eventually step in? Doesn't even have to be this season. But is Swider the next Duncan Robinson? Is he the next guy in that line, that developmental Heat culture line? That was exciting last night. So a little bit of preseason action there from your favorite little basketball team that got you going on a Tuesday night. So let's see when the next preseason game is. I should have had it at the top of my head. I do not. All right. Heat's next preseason game, Friday, TNT, at San Antonio. Wembanyama played the other day. By the way, it looked great. Wembanyama against Chet Holmgren. That feels like the next big man, rivalry. Like back in the 90s, growing up, Robinson versus Olajuwon. That's a great rivalry. And here, Wembanyama, Holmgren, the 2 big men, 2 young big men, but totally different style of play from those 90s big men. These long, lanky, skilled, sharp shooting big men. Wembanyama looked really good the other night. So did Holmgren. So the Heat are in San Antonio Friday. That's a TNT game. Wembanyama, you hope he plays. You get to see a little bit of him. I don't know how much Jimmy Butler you're going to see in the preseason. And how many preseason games do the Heat have? Let's see, 2, 4, 5, let's see. I have 2. I think it's 5. Yeah, 5 preseason games because the season starts at home against Detroit on the 25th. All right. So there you have it. 1 down, 4 to go. It's at San Antonio, Memphis, Brooklyn, and at Houston. So 2 more preseason games if you're interested in that. All right. So something else we're interested in. Oh, so Eric Spoelstra before the game yesterday. And you guys know I love this, all right? So NBA rank came out. We'll get to that. That's ESPN ranking top 100 players. And also you had the NBA GM survey that came out on NBA.com yesterday. And Coach Spoelstra was asked about it. What was he specifically asked about? Well, first, you had a bunch of questions, like so many questions that are sent out to the GMs. And they give their answers, and then you get the rankings, whatever. You understand how it works. You're not stupid. And, for instance, who is the best defensive player in the NBA? And number 1 with 40% of the vote, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Bam Adebayo did not get any votes. None. Who is the best perimeter defender in the NBA? 50% of the votes, Drew Holiday. Bam Adebayo got no votes. Jimmy Butler got an also receiving vote. Who is the best interior defender in the NBA? Jaren Jackson Jr., 30% of the vote. Bam Adebayo got 0 votes. Who is the most versatile defender in the NBA? Giannis Antetokounmpo, 37%. Bam came in 3rd at 13%. So, and then there's also, as far as the coaches, who's the best head coach in the NBA? Number 1, Eric Spoelstra, 73%. That's a blowout. He is the best coach in the league. Which head coach is the best manager, motivator of people? Number 1, Eric Spoelstra, 37%. Which head coach makes the best in-game adjustments? Number 1, Eric Spoelstra, 43%. So Eric Spoelstra killed it in the GM rankings as far as the coaching goes. Bam! No respect. But I love it. So here's a tweet from Anthony Chang, who covers the Heat from the Herald, and he tweeted out yesterday before the game. I asked Eric Spoelstra about his impressive showing in the GM survey, and he ended up talking about Bam Adebayo not getting a single vote for best defensive player in the NBA. Classic Spoelstra. And here was Spoelstra's response to it. Quote, "That one is just unbelievable to me. I think Bam is the best defensive player in the league, and I just can't understand why he's not recognized for how impactful he is on that end of the court. So he's just going to have to prove it again and just do it this year until everybody notices." I think that's a good award to go for. A lot of awards I think potentially can get in the way of winning. I think that one is, by the way, a lot of awards that could potentially get in the way of winning. How about MVP? Joel Embiid. Last year, Joel Embiid's entire MO was win the MVP. Fades in the postseason. Joel Embiid, if he had a choice last year, do you want to win MVP or do you want to get to the NBA Finals? He wants MVP. Once again, does not get out of the second round. But that year is a success for him. He got his MVP. That's what he cared about. A lot of awards I think potentially can get in the way of winning. I think that one is a great one. I don't think he's going to take himself out of anything. I think he just has to be who he is, do what he does, and just be that dynamic force on that end of the court. Then I think he's going to get recognized for that, and hopefully we'll have a great defense this year, and he leads us on that end of the court. You know I love this, right? I love when our guys are snubbed on the awards. We all know Bam Adebayo is, if not the best defensive player in the league, he's one of the tops who deserves to get votes. I love when Bam gets snubbed on awards. I love when we all get snubbed on awards. I hope we win no awards. I hope nobody talks about how good our guys are. And the Heat, they love playing with that chip on their shoulder. Eric Spoelstra can start out there saying that it's unbelievable and he doesn't get it. And quietly he's saying to himself, I love it. I love it. It's motivation for all of them. I love them not getting any awards. No awards for our guys. I want everybody to think we suck. That's what that's part of Heat culture. Is everyone doubting you, is not getting your recognition, and you stick it up their culo. That's Heat culture. That's a shirt right there. Stick it up your culo. Heat culture. There you go. Give me royalties. So secretly, I love it. I also think that secretly, Eric Spoelstra loves it. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously ridiculous that Bam doesn't get recognized in that spot. But it is what it is. So anyway, I also want to give you here the player rankings. So the NBA did that, and this is on ESPN.com. NBA rank came out. Tomorrow will be top 10. Yesterday was 100 through 51. Today was 50 through 11. Yesterday, Tyler Hero was number 79. Now, who the hell cares, right? But last year, he was 61st. So somehow, he has dropped 18 spots. He had a great year last year. He had a great year. He's dropped 18 spots. Now, I guess the reason is because they got to the finals without him. They played great in the playoffs without him, but that's a team thing. Like maybe you're fit on a specific... Now, I don't believe this, but I'm just saying you can make the case that maybe your fit on the team is not great, but that doesn't take away from what kind of player you are. It's this narrative around Tyler Hero that he's not a good player. But again, I like this. Tyler Hero already has a chip on his shoulder, and I hope everyone goes up to him and says, hey man, you dropped 18 spots. What's up with that? So he came in at 79. Today, you had 50 through 11, where you know Bam and Jimmy are going to show up. It's just where are they going to show up? They're not top 10. You understand that. Bam comes in at number 16 after 23 last year. So you like that? Jimmy comes in at number 12 after being 17 last year. So you like that as well. Actually, I'm going to give you the top 20 here so you can see where they stack up with the guys around them, okay? So here we go. Let me get to number 20. Hold on. Everybody calm down. All right, here we go. Number 20, Karl-Anthony Towns. He's lucky to be in the top 20. I don't know if he's top 20 player. He's lucky. Number 20, Karl-Anthony Towns. Number 19. And by the way, he was 13 last year. You got to drop him. Number 19, Jaylen Brown. He was 22 last year. 18, Paul George. He was 15 last year. 17, Jamal Murray. He was 50 last year. Major jump for Jamal Murray. Deserved. Number 16, Bam Adebayo. All right. So he's ahead of guys like Jamal Murray, Paul George, Jaylen Brown. I like that he's ahead of Jaylen Brown. I mean, learn how to dribble your left hand. So here's ahead of Bam Adebayo. Do you have a problem with number 15, Donovan Mitchell, ahead of Bam Adebayo? I would have Bam ahead of Donovan Mitchell. I would. Number 14, Damian Lillard. No problem with that. No shade on Dame. He wanted to come here. Not his fault. Number 13, Anthony Edwards. I got no problem with Anthony Edwards being ahead of Bam. Number 12, Jimmy Butler. How about that? That's a good spot for Jimmy. Now, if we're talking about postseason, top 3. Top 3. But this is overall. This regular season. It's overall. Number 12, Jimmy Butler. Number 11 was Devin Booker. So we know who the top 10 is going to be. You need to do process of elimination. But what order is the top 10 going to be? Before I tell you, I'm going to give you what I think the order is going to be tomorrow. But first, guys, you know I've been telling you about Sheets and Giggles now for like 6-7 months. And that's because I want to make sure, when I have such a great sponsor on the show like Sheets and Giggles, I want to make sure that you're taking advantage not just of the best sleep of your life waiting for you at sheetsgiggles.com, but we're talking incredibly affordable prices. Matter of fact, right now, all through sheetsgiggles.com, it's their annual fall sale. But I want to tell you about using the promo code ZASLOW. If you use promo code ZASLOW at checkout, 20% off your first order. And then you go back and you get all the fall sales for your next order. We're talking all kinds of deals. And we're talking the most sustainable, softest, coolest, most breathable sheets out there. Sheetsgiggles.com. I love my Sheets and Giggles. I sleep on a eucalyptus pillow. That's right. You know a koala sleeps up to 18 hours on a eucalyptus tree? I'm not sleeping on a eucalyptus tree. I'm sleeping on a eucalyptus pillow. Imagine how amazing your sleep is on a eucalyptus pillow when a koala is sleeping 18 hours on a eucalyptus tree. That's right. Like I said, sheetsgiggles.com. So soft, so cool, so breathable. you're going to become one of over 100,000 Americans sleeping on Sheets and Giggles and never turning back. Sheets and Giggles, love having them on the show. Go to sheetsgiggles.com. Use promo code ZASLOW, Z-A-S-L-W. You don't even have to thank me. Just take your 20% off your first order and get the best sleep of your life. Sheetsgiggles.com. All right, give me some NBA music here. Let's do it. So here's what I believe is going to be the top 10 tomorrow. We know who they are. Here is the order. Coming in at number 10 is going to be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's pretty awesome for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Top 10 player? Oklahoma City's a playoff. I know they were in the play-in last year. Oklahoma City might be really good this year. They might be. All right. Number 10 is going to be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Number 9, Anthony Davis. I thought it was a little bit questionable that Anthony Davis is in the top 10, but he clearly is because he's one of the 10 guys left out. So, Gilgeous-Alexander, number 10. Anthony Davis, number 9. Number 8, LeBron James. Yep. Still a top 10 player easily. I think he's going to come in at number 8 tomorrow. Number 7, Kevin Durant. Number 6, Jason Tatum. Number 5, Steph Curry. Number 4, Luka Doncic. Number 3, last year's MVP, Joel Embiid. Number 2, Giannis Antetokounmpo. And number 1, the number 1 rank tomorrow is going to go to Nikola Jokic. There you have it. That's what I think the top 10 is going to look like. I'm on the record. That's on the record. 10, Gilgeous-Alexander. 9, Davis. 8, James. 7, Durant. 6, Tatum. 5, Curry. 4, Doncic. 3, Embiid. 2, Antetokounmpo. 1, Jokic. And that's what your NBA rank top 10, I believe, is going to look like tomorrow.